Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mental Health Awakening 2. And today is going to be a really cool episode because me and Angela are joined with Kitty. And Kitty has been on the podcast, I can't remember actually how many times now, for about a couple. I think I've lost count because it's been loads. But it's going to be really cool. Today's topic is going to be personal mental health, where Kitty's going to be sharing her mental health like journey, experience, ongoing journey because it never ends. Um, Today, it's going to be really interesting. So before we get into any of that, we're all going to introduce themselves. I'm going to start. Angela, if you wouldn't mind doing your little introduction first.
All right. I'm Angela T. Jackson. I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Tennessee, the USA, partnering with the UK. Glad to be here, the hostess with the mostest on mental health. I'm excited about Mental Health Awakening 2 and our amazing guest.
Yeah, it's gonna be really really fun, and it's gonna be cool. So Kitty, you don't mind doing a little introduction of yourself?
Yeah, cool. So, hi everyone. I'm Kitty Helmly Tucker. It's an honor to be here to talk about mental health, and obviously, you probably see me like on another podcast a few times with Mason. Obviously, I pretty much grew up with Mason back in school, so we know each other very well, and it's an honor to be here.
Yeah, we do know each other very well. Like we've known each other. Well, I wouldn't say near enough all our lives, but
Yeah,
uh,
like for quite a while now.
yeah, quite a while, a long time. And
Yep.
and we're all doing different things now, so it's really good that we always keep in contact and stuff. If it's not about football, it's about someone else. Right? So well, like with your mental health, Kitty, like how, like I guess how are you doing at the moment with your mental health?
Um, to be fair, I'll be honest, I've had ups and downs. There's days and nights where like I don't feel myself, or sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind. Sometimes I'll be honest. Um, yeah, I there is days when like I wouldn't say like every day, but like you sometimes have days where you just like don't feel yourself and like you don't know what to do.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd say I've been okay recently. Yeah,
yeah. It's normal to have like ups and downs, like,
yeah,
espe- like especially because it's hard for people to understand sometimes, isn't it? Like
yeah.
like,
Honestly, there's nothing to be ashamed about having a bad day. Nothing to be ashamed about it.
no, it's part of life, isn't it?
Part of life, yeah.
Yeah. If we did have a bad day, there'd be something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely okay to say when you're not okay. That's, as you said, a part of life, having those ups and downs. And there has been a space for a long time where it was not welcomed, it was not okayed publicly to be able to say, I'm not having a good day. I used to, um, when someone would ask me, how are you doing? I started asking, do you want to know how I'm really doing? Or is this just kind of a general greeting, part of the general greeting? So now if someone says, well, how are you doing? I am totally honest, and either they will stick around or run away, you know? So it's okay to say when you're having that bad day or when there's frustration there. It gets tough when it comes in excess, but it's definitely okay to say when you're not having a good day.
Yeah. I completely agree. Because like it's all part of life, isn't it? Like you're not gonna have a good day. Maybe when you're younger, when we were all younger. Fortunately, we get older every day, don't we? Yeah. I imagine when we're all younger, we probably don't know. We probably didn't. We weren't always truthful, maybe to ourselves, and we said we would play when we're not, and we still might do that sometimes. It's okay, we do because it depends. Maybe the people you're around, you might want to. I don't know, you might want to be acting all cool around them, like and it comes to that stage if you say not okay, to maybe the right people, it might be maybe family, it might be
Yeah.
some close friends, but it is one of those things where it's hard to speak about. But I think the more you do it, like we're doing today, speaking about it, the more we speak about it, the more comfortable maybe we have about speaking about it to other people.
Yeah, yeah. You made a good point. Kids can be brutally honest. You know, they just say what they're thinking, say how they're feeling without any, without having to reconsider or consider what someone else would think about that. So you're right. We probably were more forward and more honest about it. So, all right, Kitty, I'm interested to hear what you want to share about your personal mental health.
All right then. So with my mental health, so obviously I'm gonna say it's back in 2018. My dad took his own life, and I think that made a really, really big hit on my mental health. And obviously he was struggling too. But obviously, this is the thing with people. It's like they're wearing a mask, like with like a smiley face, but behind the mask is like a really sad face, like I'm struggling. So I always say to people, like, don't be afraid to like speak out or always check in on your loved ones, because you never know when it'll be the last time. So back to me, obviously. So when my dad passed away, it took a big hit of mental health. And the thing is, if you don't speak up, which I didn't really speak up, I didn't really say anything. So obviously I just grew out my habits. Like I didn't really eat a lot. I didn't really leave the house a lot. And I felt I knew to myself that it's making me worse. I got to do something. So ended up seeing a therapist, talk about my problems and what to do. And obviously, during those times, I've just gotten better. Really, don't get me wrong, I'm not fully healed yet. Obviously, I don't think I'll ever be healed. Not gonna lie, but speaking out was the best thing I ever did, and now I can talk to anyone that I love about it, or like if I'm feeling sad about it, then I know that I can get the help that I need.
Yeah, I think it's really brave to even talk about that, because it's like was it in 2017, did you say?
2018.
2018. So like you say, it's gonna affect you through the rest of your life. You're gonna think on it, and like a lot about your dad, about what happened,
Yeah.
because it is really hard to notice things, because like I imagine like with people taking their own lives, they don't it's hard, isn't it? Because you don't notice it. I thought you would
Well, that's
notice.
the thing. I never noticed that my dad was struggling. I never knew.
Yeah,
He was just really good at hiding it.
yeah,
That's
and
the thing with people. Like they just hide it and they just end up suffering alone, which it's sad, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is really sad. Like I imagine it was a bit of a shock as well, like to your family.
Yeah, it was a massive shock. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, if you remember, was it was it a day you come home from school, or like did it happen when
To
you
be
wake
fair,
up?
it was in the morning. I was about to go to school until obviously the police came to our door.
Yeah.
So I was about to go to school and get ready for the day. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I imagine I'd have thought you wouldn't have gone in that day.
Yeah, too bad. The next day, I did decide to go in because obviously my mother told me that it would be good for me to get out there, see my friends, and just be around people that I love. And honestly, it was a really good decision that my mum helped me with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did your mom help you with connecting with a therapist and getting that type of help?
She did. She helped me get the help that I needed to help me get better. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful for her.
Mm.
Absolutely.
I'm really grateful that my family members helped me as well, and that we're all sticking together as a team and just helping each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, you said something that is so true. You may never get over the feelings that come along with grief and the shock and the mourning.
Yeah.
But having someone there that can talk with you and normalize conversations around difficult topics, it does help. It doesn't, as you said, it doesn't heal. It's not that instant feeling of, oh, I'm healed, I'm all better, I can move on with life. But you do get a level of relief because you have the opportunity to feel heard. If you want to laugh, as far as reminiscing over happy memories, if you want to cry, whatever you want to share, that's a space that's there for you to embrace and process and discover and just unpack whatever it is you're feeling around the situation and about your own mental health. So I'm glad that you had the support from mom to get professional help and create that space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good to get like a support, like from therapists, from everyone that you can, and like it's good. It is hard, like hard on you to do, like probably in your mind at the time you may have thought, I don't want to go to the school the following day, because after everything that's happened, and then like now you look back and you say that was the best thing that you done. So, it was good. And do you think the school like supported you quite a lot with that?
Yeah, the next day that I came in, they all checked up on me. They gave me a hug saying, if you need anything or need to talk to anyone or have a cry, then obviously just let us know. And especially the head teacher, Mr. Gary Smith, he was amazing. He was always there when I just needed him. And to be fair, like as weeks went on and obviously came back to school to start a new year, I did struggle. I was like, ugh. But the teachers and all my friends were there, helped me when I needed them.
Yeah, definitely. It is quite it's quite young, isn't it? It's like to lose your dad, and it's something that like I think suicide is one of the hardest things. I think
it's horrible.
It is because it is very horrible, and you're never gonna think. You're always gonna think the whole rest of your life. You're gonna think why, like why did this happen? Like it's just one of those questions. Like you're never gonna, because you're never gonna know the answer.
No.
Like you're never gonna know why he was like. You don't know if something happened. Perhaps at work or something else. But I guess the best thing that you can do is just do what you're doing. Like you're like talking about it like today. Because like I think with that kind of thing, it takes time. To talk about it to anyone, as well, because like even if you're going like flashback to when you did go to school, you may have thought like that you didn't want to speak about it because you thought maybe to other people, like at school, if they, I imagine if when people did get to know, like that you may have thought maybe they were just pestering you, like saying like you probably in your mind you think you're going to get all these people come up to you saying, I hope you're right, I'm here for you, like to message you, even though that's a kind thing to do, but at the same time it can maybe make you a little bit more sad.
Yeah, and also it could be a bit more stressing. Like it could make me a bit more stress.
Yeah.
It could be. It was a bit stressing at the start, but obviously as the day went, I was like, this was actually a really good idea. I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, like because you like football as well, so I think football is actually a good stress reliever. Like in the football court,
football can be a stress reliever sometimes.
Yes, sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Like, yeah.
Sometimes it makes me stressed even more.
Yeah. But what I think, like even like if you have a because there's a basketball court there as well. So if you just pick it in like as far as you can, let all your frustrations go. I think like or just
I always did that. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. But yeah, like what I normally do is like well when I was because of my when I like it was actually maybe a month or two ago. No one's in the house, and because of my Crohn's, I get blood sometimes when I go to the toilet. And I got some like 3 days in a row. And I would normally get that what I had having for ages. And I pray like well when I go to the toilet, I pray that it's all right, it's okay. And then I see blood in the toilet, and I scream out of frustration. Like it's not as sad as it used to be, like maybe
Yeah.
3 years ago, but like when it does happen, like quite frequently, like probably get some a month. But yeah, I think that's the best way. Like if no one's about, especially because no one judge you for it or no one see you for it. And then you just scream like as loud as you can. Don't care about anyone else in the world, and then you just let it out. I think that is a really good way to let stress go. But as you say,
Yeah.
with football, um,
Yeah.
it can be stressful as well, especially if your team's not doing well.
Yeah. Figuring out ways to cope can be very interesting. It can include things that you enjoy doing, like you guys are talking about football. Maybe it's walking. Um, and then there's also certain coping skills that you might learn in therapy. So you mentioned having ups and downs. So maybe there are some general ups and downs, and maybe you were active, the exercise, the sports. What are some of the coping skills that you've learned in therapy?
To be fair, so I did art therapy. So obviously I've always enjoyed art.
I love it.
Yes, obviously I know we did paintings, made clay sculptures, and yeah, and honestly it made me a lot better. So every so often, if I'm having a bad day, I just like to do some drawings really, and it actually really helps me.
Mm.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So you're an artist in general, is that right? Do you draw a lot?
I do draw a lot, yeah. I mean, I've always enjoyed art since like primary school time. I've
Mhm.
always enjoyed it. So every so often, I just like to draw random things that I think of, or anything really.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I draw a little bit. I don't get as much time to draw as I used to, but the thing that I love about art therapy is even for someone who may not be good at it, it doesn't matter about the skill. It doesn't matter necessarily about the masterpiece. It matters how it makes you feel in that moment, the releasing the stress, the expression. It might be scribbles one direction. Maybe you're expressing yourself through the certain colors that might characterize, anger, the frustration. Maybe it's a sunny day on there. So there's so much you can do, so many directions you can use to actually get those feelings out and unpack, just like you would if it was talk therapy. So you just you just lit some things up for me, because I'm a little bit of an artist as well. So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It
I like
does.
art is good. Like I remember doing an art exam in school. I think Kitty will remember that when she done art
Yeah.
as well. And it was just I couldn't. It's the longest time I've been quiet in my life.
Oh, honestly, I remember doing it. Like it was so quiet. I'm like, it's so quiet. I don't like this.
Yeah, and if you even move, you got teachers looking at you, like staring at you, like you've moved, and like I thought I was rubbish. I literally thought I'm rubbish at art, and then I do this thing on the canvas, and I thought, oh, it actually looks okay. And I passed. Don't know how, but I did pass. But yeah, it was interesting, and like I did like art actually, but I just didn't like the quietness of doing it.
Yeah, same here. The quietness was like, to be fair, my class was always really loud, but quiet. I was like, this is not right.
No. Yeah.
Any music in the background?
Like
No.
literally nothing, just quietness.
Okay.
Honestly,
No,
I was like, I want to leave the room. Can I please leave the room?
I had to at some point. I just got to go to the toilet.
I did that. I was like, can I toilet, please? I walked. I was like, okay.
Mm.
I had to make the slowest walk to the toilet as well.
No, I just took my time.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
escape, huh?
Yeah, I just had to escape out of there. I was like, I
yeah.
can't do it.
It was unlike any other exam. Like I know every exam requires people to be quiet, but in other things it's a little bit different than art because you literally have. I look around, people are so concentrated on their work, and then sometimes I did whisper to maybe people just to talk. I just have some intention because you had nothing.
I know. I was like, can someone talk to me? Like, I'm bored.
Um,
I remember in an art class that I had, there was always some type of music in the background. It didn't have to be classical necessarily, but it was really soft. It helped to support that right side of the brain, that creativity, and there was just a flow to it. So
Yeah.
now I'm comfortable with silence, but with art, I prefer some music, even
Yeah,
if
like
it's just kind of a low.
at least there's some sound.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and the thing is,
Cool.
the thing is about this art exams. I think it was split over 2 days. So as soon as you get in, maybe at 9 a.m., you're straight there to the art room, and then you're there till maybe 3 o'clock when you would finish school. So you have your breaks, of course. You're not in there the the whole entire
So
time.
if you're in there like till then, no breaks, I'm like,
No,
no.
no, you got to have your lunch and you've got to have your break. I wouldn't have done it otherwise, because you have to stretch your legs and stuff. And
Yeah.
then I was fortunate on the second day. I finished a little bit earlier than probably other people, um, and so, and then I'm out and then it's done. But yeah, that is one of the most stressful probably art exam. But art is good fun if you do it at home and
Yeah.
draw what you want.
And art therapy helps with um, depression, anxiety, lots of other different things. And then whatever that strong emotion is, you get the opportunity to release that, and you've got a bit of a masterpiece in the end. So, yeah, definitely some benefits there. And it partners with talk therapy. I've seen it partner with play therapy, of course, with younger children
Yeah.
and older adults. We use the adult coloring books, right? We still use adult coloring books sometimes, and also it doesn't have to be the ones with all of the shapes and circles.
Yeah.
You go get the coloring book you like, the cartoon character you enjoy. So awesome.
Yeah, I like to use. I used to like to do that, like coloring with the books and different colors and
Hmm.
um
Oh, I always loved doing it.
yeah, it was great, and like I haven't done it in ages, because I haven't probably drawn in ages, but unless it's a diagram or something, like if I like with doing different logos and stuff, I'll do a little diagram which is rubbish, and like I'm awful, but like it's not just art. I guess you can draw on loads of other things, but art is great. Um, like the good thing is about it doesn't matter what you draw. Like there's so much out there that you can draw or color in. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just,
Obviously, the main thing is if it makes you feel better and it's making you feel happy, then that's the main thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
if it helps you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Kitty, I want to ask,
Yeah.
before the situation with your dad, were you
Mhm.
exposed to conversations about mental health, mental stability, or therapy? Is this a new experience for you, or is this something that maybe your family had discussed prior to the traumatic experience?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it wasn't just me that had therapy. My other family members had therapy too, because obviously they were shocked by it too. But obviously, I'd say, obviously after my therapy, obviously I haven't had therapy since, because obviously my family thinks that I've coped really well, I'm strong, and that if I have sad times, I know that I can deal with it and I know what to do. But yeah, I'd say that they did have a talk with me, like saying like do you want to do it? Like they gave me an option, like you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But obviously my mum was like, it would really help you. But obviously again it's up to you. And obviously it was my first time. It was my first time having therapy. I was like, I'd like to do it, give it a try. But obviously the one thing that obviously when I first went, I had a really bad feeling about it. So obviously I was saying to myself, I'm going to talk to some stranger about how I feel. But obviously, I was honest to my therapist and said, like, obviously, I know I don't know you that well, but obviously, but she was really nice. Obviously, I will never forget her. She was amazing. She was like, I hope that I can gain your trust. So obviously, first we obviously got to know each other, and funny enough, my therapist went through the same experience as me too, around my age. So obviously, she knew how I felt, and I think to that day, up to this day forward, I will never forget her. I'm always grateful for what she did for me. And obviously she gave me loads of things to do, saying, draw whatever you want. I really don't care. You can rant, have a cry, and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, that is it's what a coincidence. Like that, like with the like therapist had like a similar situation.
Yeah, honestly, that shocked me. I was like, no way. She's like, yeah, I went for it too. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's good in a way that was that you got that therapist then who
Yeah, it was really good.
yeah
Perfect fit. Perfect fit. You
It
know,
was
everybody. It's. I'm sure you felt more supported. Somebody that you could connect to. It's one thing to
yeah.
talk with a person that, oh, okay, this is a professional. They know what's going on with feelings and emotions in general, but to connect with someone who has been through the same experience, felt similar hurts, similar shock, whatever the process was, as far as that emotional piece, I'm sure that helped to build
It
that
did.
trust, you know, and sound like, ooh, she sounded like one of the good ones. She
Yeah.
allowed you to have your space and use it the way you wanted to. That space and time belongs to you. I like that. She's made an impression for you to say, I'll never forget her. And that should be the goal, you know, especially
Yeah.
for a therapist to meet with someone who has never experienced any kind of therapy before. That's always an important space to make them feel comfortable, because guess what? That could be the only experience they receive of that kind. So you definitely want to make it pleasant and, you know, do no harm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had a wonderful experience.
yeah it is like so. Kitty, how long would you say you had therapy for?
So the deal was when Mum sent me off for was that I was gonna have it for 6 weeks. So it was like once a week for the past 6 weeks, and obviously the therapist was like, "We'll do 6 weeks, how it goes, and the 6 weeks end, we'll go through it, and then we'll see if you need more time or you're fine." So I did the 6 weeks, and I got better over those weeks. So the therapist was like, "I think you're doing amazing." So obviously the therapist was like, "Well, not do any more," but obviously she did say, if you do need more though, like all of a sudden, obviously she gave me her details. She's like, just give me a call or a text, and obviously I'm sure we can arrange something.
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah. It's so
Okay.
it's glad it helped though. It's one of those things like even before you've even started, you think like a therapist is it. It's like it's hard, isn't it? Like to
Yeah.
maybe speak to people who you don't know, like you said, like strangers to you. Um, and
Yeah, that's the one thing I was scared, like talking to someone about my feelings that I don't even know. That's what I didn't really like.
no, it just seems like I had that situation not too long ago, Like not a therapist, but like maybe a worker or something like that.
Yeah.
Asking about me, and I I just said something, but but it's really hard to speak to people that you don't know, and
Yeah, it is.
you don't know anything about them, like
Mhm.
like. But I guess it's how we all start making friends in the first place, um, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's true.
Yeah, yeah, because we'd have been strangers, Kitty, wouldn't we? In
Yeah,
the first
yeah. To
place.
be fair, when I started at my new school, I was nervous because I was gonna be around people that I didn't know.
Yeah,
But obviously,
Mhm.
when you get to know them, I was like, I love you guys.
yeah,
And I can relate, Mason. Same thing with us. We had to have something in common to be able to connect, and now it's been what, maybe a 3 year long friendship or collaboration, right?
yeah. I think it's been that long. Um,
Almost 3 years.
yeah, yeah,
That's long. Oh my god.
Mhm. Yeah, so definitely making connections and finding things that are in common with people that you don't know is helpful. And you guys have made some really good points, because something that I say to new clients is, I know you don't know me, so I want to thank you for sharing your information with me. I want to thank you for sharing what you need with me. You don't know me, never met me. I'm doing my best to make you feel comfortable. I literally say that every single time with a brand new client, and even some that I've had for a while, because they're sharing things with me that they probably haven't shared with anyone else. And the very important part about sharing information or getting to know and trust and like your therapist is that what's different about talking with a therapist and talking with a friend is that we are bound to confidentiality. What you share with us is confidential unless there's a threat of harm. And of course, there's that trusting part of the relationship and that security that, hey, we care about our clients, but if there's ever someone that's in danger, you've got a professional that's going to reach out to help you, you know. So it's almost a level of safety and security, you know, whereas you tell a friend a secret, and that friend has a friend, and that friend has another friend they can trust. And then that friend probably has another friend.
that's it. That's exactly it. Like I think with friendships, like you'll say so. I mean, it will come up a lot. Like you'll say something to someone, and you'll probably say, "Don't tell anyone this. Just keep it between us." And then you know that that's not going to be the same. They go to someone else, and then they'll talk to someone else, and talk to someone else. But that's how it normally goes. And then maybe you as the friend, I think, I should have told you in the first place, should I?
Right, right. Don't tell. Oh, they're not going to tell anybody. You can trust them. And then all of a sudden they've got somebody they can tell to say, don't tell anybody. So, but yeah, therapists are, we're governed by a board, and I'm sure it's the same way in the UK. We have to abide by certain laws and ethical guidelines that say we've got to keep a client's information confidential. And a lot of times where people can't talk with relatives openly without judgment, or they can't talk to a friend, or they have to talk to certain friends about certain issues, you can bring it all in and lay it on the table, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think I'm no therapist myself, so I wouldn't know the ins and outs of the rules, but I would have thought this would be the same. They're going to be like when I went to school, it wasn't therapy, but there was situations where I would see people for certain situations that happened, and they wouldn't tell anyone. Like even teachers actually, like in schools, like you tell something to a teacher that maybe you trust, um, and they wouldn't tell anyone. I would always tell my teacher, Miss Halls. Kitty will probably remember Miss Hall.
Yes.
And I would tell her things, and Miss Springler actually at the time, um, I would tell them things that I wouldn't probably tell any other teacher at the school because I would trust them more than other members of staff. Probably 'cause I have a better relationship with them than maybe the other likes of other teachers. But it's like everyone relates to a certain teacher that they've had. And it's almost like therapy in a way, like that
Yeah.
like teachers, because is there unless something happens, unless you say something that is dangerous, that you're going to do something that's dangerous, like they have to tell like your parents or to tell someone in your family, like that to let someone know. But yeah, it's same situation I think with most jobs, not just a therapist. Lots of jobs have the different kind of laws where you have to abide by comfort, like with stuff. So a lot of it is the same, but with therapy,
Mhm.
a bit more private.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So when you think in terms of your doctors, your teachers, any of the administrators, therapists, and so on and so on. So you think healthcare field, other professionals, uh, most are mandated reporters. So if they're, like you said, if there's a threat of harm or there's a risk that's detected, yeah, they're required to reach out. Or if there's like child abuse or something of that nature, even suspected, we have to reach out, and we're not the investigators, but someone else will, just to protect and be the voice of whoever may be in danger. So you're right. It is more than just therapist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like, what year did you join at school? Like our school, Kitty?
I think it was 2017 I joined.
Okay. Um, so would that have been like year 8 or something?
I started late in year 7, then obviously I carried on the rest of the years.
Yeah, yeah. A bit like me actually. I was like that. I joined. Can't remember what year I joined now. um, but yeah, I joined about after Christmas in year 7. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of years. So probably about 5 or 6 years or more that
Yeah.
we've known each other. So like it's good. It's good when you have those like friends, isn't it? Like that you've known for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Kitty, do you ever advocate or share with other people your age or just anyone in general about either therapy, about coping with the ups and downs, about mental health? Is there any outlet that you have to help and support others?
Yeah. So obviously mental health means a lot to me. So obviously I'm always there for anyone, even if it's someone I'm not even close with. Like I always say that I'm just a text away, or if you need anyone, give me a call, please. And obviously, if they're coping really bad, I would definitely suggest therapy, because I would say to them that therapy really helped me. Obviously, like try not to make it all about me, obviously, but like I'd say like talking to someone can really help. Because, like I said at the start, if you just don't talk to anyone and keep it to yourself, it's like it's going to eat you up inside, and it's going to make you even worse. If you obviously, you know what I mean, like it's going to eat you all up inside, and you're going to probably end up like losing your mind. And obviously, the situation that you're going through is probably going to get even more worse if you don't speak up. Which
Yeah.
obviously, there's nothing to be ashamed about it, nothing at all.
No.
Like obviously they could be embarrassed about it, saying like something embarrassing happened they don't want to say. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like if you speak up, then obviously you can get the help that you need to obviously to make yourself be a better person.
I like that. Those are good tips and suggestions, even for the viewers and listeners. There's so much going on in the world itself to where people don't talk about mental health enough. They don't talk about mental health care enough until there's a tragic event or a fatality or an overload of stress. So even what you just said has been helpful. It's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very helpful to everyone in the world. But I guess last few things, because we spoke a lot about Kitty's like journey with mental health and Kitty's dad. I guess last thing we could say is like with it, like, is there anything else, Kitty, that you would suggest like people do, like if that it's like suicide to like a family member happened to other people?
Well, this is the thing, you don't really know whether someone's feeling suicidal or not, like, to be fair, but all I can say is that just always check in on your loved ones, because you never know when will be the last time you see them. And you never know, even speaking out and giving your friends a text, it could save a life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really important, like you say, like, because it's really unpredictable. Like, you don't think that, do you, that is gonna happen until it does, and like, well, and yeah, it's a long healing process, and I know you never will heal, but just have a bit more, feel a bit more better in yourself as time goes on. But
this is it. If it happens, and obviously you're going to regret and think, I wish I could have done something to prevent it.
Yeah.
And obviously speaking up and checking them, that could prevent it from happening.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Kitty. That's really brave of you to say. Yeah. Angela, is there any last things that you want to say at all or anything?
I do. I actually looked up a resource just in general. I know nationwide here in America, we have a mental health crisis line, which is 988. And that was recently put in place to take the place actually of the 1-800 toll-free number that you used to have to dial to get that 24/7 support. So also on the resource that I have, it has emergency numbers for the UK, Republic of Ireland, Argentina. So I actually copied this to be able to share it in a private group. And you guys tell me if this is still accurate, but it says for the UK, the emergency numbers is 112 or 999. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So there are some emergency numbers for the UK. Non-emergency, 111, option 2. There's a 24/7 helpline that is 116 123. So if that is helpful to someone listening in the UK, take that information, save it. If you're in the USA, 988. And also, if it is a true emergency, any professional would recommend you go to your nearest emergency room for support in true emergencies. Talking about suicide, to Kitty's point, that's preventing preventing a fatality. That is saving a life. Talking about it doesn't push that person. They want to know that someone is present and that you care. So with that, I will say this, even when it relates to mental health itself and mental health treatment, trust the process. Trust the process. It's not something that works instantly, but when you make the commitment to be involved, when you make the commitment to even allow yourself, give yourself permission to embrace what is offered, you will benefit from the treatment process. So that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. And like you say, to anyone listening, watching, you just go to call those numbers that are like, if anything, like if you need support, like see a counsellor, like a therapist, counsellor. I think they're the same thing. I might be wrong, but I think they are. Yeah, just see that, because I saw on Kitty's concern and her experience that has helped her an awful bunch. So do that and try and have to get the support, because if you get the support, you will heal a little bit better. And as we said, you're never going to heal. You're always going to think if situations like this does happen, that you may blame yourself. You might, like he says, but you always got to remember that things can get a little bit better, but not overall. But feel a little bit better in yourself. Do things like maybe kick a ball. I don't know. Maybe very lame advice, but I don't know. Do something you're interested in, I guess. Like, because it's interest really help us sometimes for the good and for the worse. But yeah, just do stuff you're interested in. But and talk to someone like we are today. We're talking about a topic that's really passionate to Kitty, that she really loves talking about mental health, and yeah, it's great to have Kitty back on the podcast today, and Mental Health Awakening 2. And we're calling it for Kitty who's unaware why we're calling it 2. It's because last year we did a series called Mental Health Awakening last year, so we just put a 2 on the end this year because it's the second series of it. So that is why we called it 2. But yeah, to anyone listening, we hope you take something from this episode, and yeah, you enjoy it. And to Kitty and Angela, thank you for sharing your story, Kitty, and thanks to Angela for I guess being here, because you work with mental health, and you do a lot about what we're saying with counselling, I guess, therapist, with mental health. So it all relates today. So thanks again, guys. And I hope you have a nice rest of your days. I think I said that right. All right. Thanks, guys.